Story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major story, federal government clears 15 out of the 21 people quarantined and put under surveillance over Ebola as another nurse dies in Lagos. Also in this program, national conference ends without rancor as delegates unanimously adopt resolution after title of final document was changed to draft amendment to 1999 Constitution. APC accuses DSS of grass partisanship, calls spokesperson Marilyn Oga unknowledgeable and unfit for her office. And outside Nigeria, Ukraine kicks against Russian aid to rebel-held territory, says it is decoy for sending military equipment to the pro-Moscow insurgents. Thanks for staying with us. It's CoreTV Primetime News. Now details of the headlines and other stories. Another nurse who attended to the late Liberian-American Patrick Sawyer in Lagos has died from Ebola. She is the third Nigerian and the second nurse to die after making primary contact with Sawyer on arrival in Lagos. The federal government has confirmed the fourth mortality in Nigeria but declined to identify her. It also noted that the number of confirmed cases in Lagos is 10, not 11, as earlier announced. The number of Nigerians placed under observation in Enugu over possible Ebola virus infection is down to 6. This was after 15 out of the 21 people in quarantine were cleared. Also, the number of confirmed Ebola cases in the country has risen to 10, the report.
Until a few days ago, the Ebola virus was restricted to Lagos. But after one of the nurses that treated the index case traveled to Enugu, government officials informed Nigerians that 21 people were in quarantine. Now, the health minister has come out to clarify the situation in Lagos and Enugu.
This morning, 169 persons are under surveillance in Lagos. The number is going down now because all the 169 now are secondary contacts. We have completed the 21 days maximum incubation period to observe primary contacts. So we have allowed those primary contacts who have not shown any sign of disease to be. And so all the 169 contacts presently in Lagos as at this morning under contact are all secondary contacts. In addition, we have 6 contacts in Enugu. As of yesterday, we were following on 21 of them. But after the very stringent and rigorous interview, we found out that 15 do not qualify as contacts.
He also revealed that the nurses may not have infected anybody aside from her husband.
You can only infect people when you have symptoms. So the fact that she went by public transport posed no danger to anybody. And she has spent days before she had the first symptom in Enugu. So she didn't infect anybody on her way to Enugu. I want to make that clear. When you don't have symptoms, you don't infect anybody. But on her return journey to Lagos, both of them traveled in special ambulances. So they did not have the opportunity also to contaminate anybody from Lagos to Enugu.
The health minister also gave Nigerians some hope by saying that only secondary contacts are under surveillance. But in spite of that, the government is not taking chances. It insists that there is still work to be done to ensure that Ebola virus doesn't take root in Nigeria.
Still on Ebola, Dangote Foundation has donated 150 million naira to stop the spread of Ebola virus disease in Nigeria. The managing director of the foundation, Dr. Adiambo Odaga, says the fund is meant for the establishment of an emergency center in Lagos.
After bilateral discussions with the Honorable Minister and his team, Dangote Foundation has funded the establishment of the Ebola Emergency Operations Center in Lagos. That is being done through a grant from the foundation of just a little over 150 million naira. The strategy that our chairman is deploying is a strategy to respond and to commend government for the effort and to show that all Nigerians are concerned. We're continuing to talk to the ministry about what additional support can be offered. And we also have been approached by several parties who are interested in partnering with government, and we will continue that discussion.
The Ebola outbreak in West Africa is threatening to exact a severe economic toll as countries affected remained in lockdown and rushed to bluster emergency response. Robinson warned that a serious outbreak in Lagos, Africa's most populous city, may cause severe disruptions to the oil and gas industry if international companies evacuate staff and local operations are shut down. This, he says, may translate into economic and fiscal deterioration. Local businesses, on which many depend upon for livelihood, will also be affected.
After when the man come from Liberia died, started affecting us. But for now, no more buyer. So our meat just spoiled. We throw them off. Some of them we eat, some of them. Then the other ones we throw them off. So they are affecting us very well.
Residents in Liberia are calling for hospitals to reopen as they struggle to deal with an Ebola epidemic. Many health workers have been struck down by the disease that some hospitals have been forced to close, affecting not only those suffering from Ebola, but others needing treatment for their ailments.
The government already prioritized the hospital because we can keep the hospital closed. Not every disease that comes to the hospital or patients that come to the hospital have to come down with the disease of Ebola. They are all related diseases that are non-Ebola. And these people should be privileged, that cardinal right to be treated as a citizen. So we shouldn't keep the hospital closed because of this. So we need the central government to give all necessary support, especially to the hospitals, so that we can keep the doors open. Because we must provide safety for our staff, for ourselves, and those who are providing care for.
I just want to say this to our president, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Please try to open our hospital so our people can start dying from the Ebola, because I don't think this is Ebola. But our people are dying because the hospital is remain closed down. Anybody gets sick, even from malaria, you die, and they say that's Ebola. So I'm asking Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to please open our hospital.
When we get sick, you know, we're doing the self-treatment because the closure of those government hospitals around, so we can go to the various pharmacies around or clinics to get medication, self-medications.
Really sad. Away from Ebola, after 2 days of disquiet, the national conference has ended without rancor. Delegates unanimously adopted the resolution of the conference after the title of the final document was changed from draft constitution to draft amendment to the 1999 constitution. The resolution is to be submitted to President Goodluck Jonathan on August 21. Northern delegates to the national conference say they have achieved their aim of protecting the interest of northern Nigeria. The delegates had few days ago raised allegations over plans to elongate President Goodluck Jonathan's tenure, but speaking at a press briefing after the final report was adopted, they maintained that they succeeded in getting the conference to drop draft constitution from the final report.
All we wanted was remove the title draft constitution, submit it and keep to what we did, which was propose amendments.
By the grace of Allah and the consultation and through the wisdom of our leaders here, there were always ways out for us. So we thank the conference management, the team, for listening to us. At least at the end of the day, today is a very successful end. For the North, we cannot compromise the unity of the North. I'm very happy that at least for this conference we have seen that we can work together. We have no way out but to work very closely to ensure that the interest of the North is always protected.
The All Progressives Congress has accused the Department of State Services of partisanship and unprofessional conduct over its actions and comments on the recent election in Osun State. The party's National Publicity Secretary Lai Mohammed said the DSS spokesperson, Marilyn Oga, should be properly trained and given the necessary exposure so she can speak with knowledge and facts, instead of making baseless and incautious statements. APC said by spearheading the mass arrest of its leaders and members in Osun before and during the governorship election in the state, and by preventing the rally planned by the NOC in support of Governor Argbeshola from holding, the DSS has decided to pitch its tent with the PDP instead of staying neutral. It described as a tissue of lies the allegation by Oga that the party tried to bribe the DSS with 14 million naira before the Osun election. Wondering why the DSS did not arrest the official who offered the alleged bribe, APC said it is important to educate the likes of Oga and indeed the entire DSS that election is not war but a celebration of democracy. Hence, DSS agents should drop their hoods and hide away from menacing guns when next they are posted to police an election anywhere in the country. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break. Stay with us.
Nivea Nourishing Body Lotion. Its effective formula with Hydra IQ gives your skin deep and long-lasting nourishment for skin that stays moisturized all day long. Look great, feel great, with deeply nourished skin. Nourishing Body Lotion from Nivea.
Some say it's a sharp pain. Some might even say it's a shocking pain. And it's usually caused by hot, cold drinks. It definitely affects the quality of life. The treatment for tooth sensitivity can be very simple. Brushing with Sensodyne twice daily will give you long-lasting protection from tooth sensitivity. Sensodyne works inside the tooth and it soothes the nerve, and then the patient will have a relief of their pain. Sensodyne can be used every day. You don't have to use another toothpaste. For me to have a toothpaste that solves that problem so simply is what I like about Sensodyne.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Stay tuned. It's CoreTV Primetime News. Nigeria Union of Pensioners has handed a 4-month ultimatum to the federal government over unpaid pension benefits in arrears. National President of the Union, Ebel Afolayan, told CoreTV News that pensioners are also extending the ultimatum to state governments with arrears of unpaid pension. He maintained that pensioners would boycott the 2015 elections if the arrears are not paid before the end of the year.
Transformation agenda, and we are wishing him well. But in return, we are saying all the state governors and Mr. President should pay all our entitlements, arrears of pension, gratuity, harmonization, death benefits to relatives of deceased pensioners between now and the end of the year if they want to actually deserve our vote.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is set to prosecute a stockbroker for a 30 million naira scam. 54-year-old Boye Oluwole allegedly sold 300,000 units of shares belonging to one of his clients without authorization. The FCC said in a statement that the broker claimed that the shares were warehoused in his firm, but the Central Securities Clearing System, CSCS, confirmed to the client that they had been sold. The Commission said investigations showed that the broker indeed sold all the shares. The May-June 2014 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results recorded mass failure in mathematics and English language. Some university dons have ascribed the failure to the mode of teaching adopted in Nigeria. They also questioned the quality of teachers in secondary schools. Former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Ayo Banjo, and a professor of philosophy, University of Lagos, Kola Ogundowole, say it is high time Nigeria adopts an indigenous method of teaching.
The whole of our educational system needs restructuring, and it has to start from the primary school. The primary school, we don't have people you can properly call teachers. And the secondary school, there's lack of motivation, there's poor pay, and very little, I think, very little inspection. In the old days, you had inspectors of schools who were a kind of terror in the schools. They made all the teachers sit up and do their work properly. I don't think there's such things, so people are left to their own devices.
That the pupils who have so failed are protesting, and our parents have not seen that. Even our psychologists seem not to be seeing that yet. They are protesting that, parents, why must you torture me to learn a foreign language before I could have access to skills and knowledge, before I could become somebody? That is the issue.
Students of the Olabisi Onabanjo University Agoiwoye in Ogun State took to the streets of Abeokuta to demand an immediate implementation of the reduction of their school fees announced by the state government on Tuesday. Tulu Ojewumi, who was in Abeokuta, brought in this report presented from our studios.
The Ogun State government had on Tuesday announced 65% reduction in the tuition paid by students of tertiary institutions in the state. The students, led by the union president Segun Ifade, are already reading political meaning to the development as they demand immediate implementation.
We've been expecting a reduction in our tuition fee since 2011 that the governor has promised more than 50% reduction. But unfortunately, now that we've started the issue, the governor was not listening to us. But when the meeting started, we found out that what they are more interested in doing is political reduction. Instead of proper reduction, that there will be relationship between the economic reality of Nigerians and our tuition fee. For now, the least amount that we are paying is 134,000, and the highest is 305,000 naira. And if you look at that, you find out that there is no correlation between the amount you are paying and the economic reality of Nigeria.
The student later met the commissioner in charge of Ogun State Police Command, Nkemefuna Okoye, who had this warning and admonition for them.
I'm begging all of you, in the name of God, let there be peace. There is nothing you gain out of crisis. There must be peace. I'm seeing you people here as my children. I'm seeing people here as my colleagues because I was like you before. Please, you know my style. You know my style. I've been preaching peace and the people we are here for. You have seen my men here. They are not here against you. They are here to ensure that there is peace. Because it is in peace that you have progress. When there is peace, I have development. Are you listening? Please, allow us to do the job. Allow us to do the job. You cannot get anything out of this, that's what you are doing now.
The admonition notwithstanding, the student threatened to vote out Ibikunle Amosun-led government if their voice is not hearkened to.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We take another break. When we return, it will be time for business and sports. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to travel the city of Lagos went dark as all routes to you on
Be the first to know
CoreTV News
from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
We are one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV,
a 24-hour news station.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News. Thanks for joining us Business News tonight. I am Bimbo Fagade. The federal government is set to increase the supply of gas to power plants across the country to improve power supply. According to Minister of Power Chinedu Nebo, when this is done, it would boost investors' confidence in the sector. The minister, who represented Vice President Namandi Sambo at the inauguration of the National Council of Power, assured Nigerians of better days ahead. Pai Samuel has more.
The idea to inaugurate the National Council on Power came up in 2008. But today, it has come to reality. The council is saddled with the responsibility of coming up with workable plans that will enhance the participation of investors in the sector. To achieve this, the government has made provision for over 4 billion naira to boost power supply in the country.
Suffice it to say that within the shortest possible time, Nigeria has now been placed on the path of guaranteeing sustainable power supply. Against all odds and the myriad of problems which for decades had downplayed the sector, we are now poised to allow the power sector play its enabling role on the fulcrum of our country's march toward economic greatness and sustained social well-being.
Uninterrupted power supply is what will make the difference to Nigerians, no matter how much money is invested. But investors are keen on pumping more funds into the sector.
In the last few days, you have discussed and you've heard the transition of the national power project in Nigeria to private sector intervention. Phase one of it was getting people involved in managing the access of PACN. and by investment of about $3.1 billion. As of November 1, these private sector people have put their stake in the Nigerian project of power. And second to that is the NIPP project of 10 new power plants, unprecedented anywhere else in the world, where government has built 10 power plants and have loaded it to the power sector. And the price tag is $5.8 billion US. And we're in the process of closing that transaction.
For now, we used to have campaigns where people go and campaign and say, we're going to provide roads, we're going to provide water, we're going to provide all other essentials, but never did we hear electricity. It was left for the president alone, and indeed the presidency, to always say, we'll work on electricity. Now with this council in place, I'm sure that we'll begin to hear that we can provide electricity, we'll provide electricity for our people, and with all hands on deck, I'm sure that the provision of electricity will be a thing of the past.
The key players in the power sector believe that there is no better time than now to light up Nigeria.
In the power sector, it has to be cooperative federalism in such a way that the center, represented by the very efficient and powerful Ministry of Power, giving the directions, are going to be cooperating fully with the state ministries and the state agencies involved in the power sector, so that there will be a national cooperative network of power production, power distribution, in such a way, as the minister said, by the grace of God, there will be light for the people of Nigeria.
As the power reforms continue to gather steam, Nigerians can only hope that there will be adequate gas supply that will translate to a 24-hour power supply. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Still on power, the country director of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, in Nigeria, Patrick Komawa, says the collective contribution by development partners to Nigeria's power sector reform is expected to hit $2 billion by 2018. Komawa stated this in Abuja while making a presentation at the National Council on Power. The Development Partners Donor Coordination Group on Power, which works with the federal government through the Ministry of Power with the aim to help improve the efficiency of power supply in Nigeria, is co-chaired by the European Union and UNIDO. Its members include the African Development Bank, AFDB, United States Agency for International Development, USAID, Japanese International Cooperation Agency, and the World Bank. Explaining the various areas of interventions in the sector, Komawa stated that the AFDP, AFD, and the USAID are providing support to improve intervention in the transmission subsector of the industry. The National Economic Council has directed the police authorities to dismantle all roadblocks mounted at highways for tax collections. This is one of the decisions taken at a meeting presided over by Vice President Nnamdi Sambo. Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano briefed journalists on the outcome of the council meeting.
The report of the Ministerial Implementation Committee on Harmonization of Taxes in Nigeria. This committee made the following findings, that some of the findings are as follows: that the 1998 Tax and Levies Act is overdue for review. There is duplication of some tax and levies at state and local government levels. Taxes and levies administered by some states are not backed by appropriate legislation. Their recommendations are as follows: discontinuation of the practice of using non-revenue officials for collection of taxes and levies at state and federal agencies. This is contrary to Section 2 of the Tax and Levies Act. All state revenue boards be empowered to automate the tax operations and, for effectiveness, process accountability and reduce leakages. The NEC to direct IG of Police to dismantle all roadblocks mounted on highways for revenue collection.
Two major agriculture firms operating in Nigeria's oil palm sector
which are quoted on the Nigeria Stock Exchange, have recorded the strongest growth in 6 quarters, as second quarter 2014 earnings spiked on increased price of palm oil at the international market. The cumulative revenue of the 2 dominant players in the sector increased by 2% to 8.93 billion naira for second quarter 2014 from 8.75 billion naira, while profit increased by 13.45% to 4.51 billion naira. According to revised estimate by the National Bureau of Statistics, agriculture made up 23% of the economy, with Nigeria's real GDP growth strengthened to 5.5% in 2013 from 4.2% in 2012. According to Food and Agriculture Organization, Nigeria, African leading crude producer and most populous nation, ranks behind Malaysia and Indonesia as the world's largest oil palm producer. The Debt Management Office has announced it sold 100 billion naira worth of bonds with maturity ranging between 3 and 20 years at auction, fetching higher yields than previously. A breakdown of the bonds showed that the DMO sold 15 billion naira in 3-year debt notes, fetching 11.12% higher than the 11% they got at the July auction. 50 billion naira in 10-year debt at 12.22% against 12.19% last month, and a total of 35 billion of 20-year note at 12.38% yield compared with 12.14% in July. All the debt notes were reopening of previous issues, while total demand fell to 174.01 billion naira against 263.91 billion naira last month. And on stock reports, equity transaction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Thursday ended on negative notes. The NSE All-Share depreciated by 2.81 points to close lower at 41,750.38 basis points. Market capitalization dropped to close lower at 13.786 trillion naira. In all, a total of 208 million shares valued at 2.24 billion naira were exchanged in 4,785 deals. Report shows that Dangote Cement PLC topped the year's chart, followed by Mobile PLC, UACN PLC, Virgin PLC, and Access Bank PLC. While on the other hand, Corn Oil PLC led the losers chart, followed by Nigerian Breweries PLC, Guinness PLC, GlaxoSmith PLC, and Fort Oil PLC. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on Business News tonight. Drama rocks Nigeria football. Do stay tuned as Brownson Warner brings you more story in sports.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
A very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Owana. Beginning the news from the FIFA ranking released today. Nigeria have moved up to become the third highest African team and moved up just one spot to the 33rd position in the world in the FIFA ranking released on Thursday. Algeria retained their position at the top of the African list. Cote d'Ivoire still sits on the second position, while Ghana and Egypt makes up the top 5 teams in Africa. The first 5 position in the world remains unchanged, with Germany occupying the top spot, having pulled a total of 1,705 points to cement first spot. Argentina, Netherlands maintains their position from last month's rankings, while Colombia, Belgium, Uruguay, Spain, Brazil, Switzerland, France completes the top 10 ranked teams in the world. And away from that, World Football Governing Body FIFA has overturned the impeachment of Nigerian football president Aminu Meigari. This was communicated in a letter signed by FIFA's Deputy Secretary General, Marcus Katner. This means NFF Congress will exercise its sovereign power through the election process, which shall be open to everybody and managed by the Electoral Committee by the Congress. Nigerian Falconet head coach Peter Dedevo says the team has made him a happy man after a 2-1 win over England in the ongoing FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. The Falconet topped the group with 7 points with victory over England and Korea Republic and a 1-1 draw against Mexico. Dedevo commended the performance of his players and admitted that the team must focus on scoring goals. The Falconets will take on New Zealand in the quarter-final on Saturday. And away from that now, football enthusiasts has commended the Confederation of African Football CAF decision to ban football games in Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea in a bid to contain the Ebola virus. The sport lovers said the move was necessary to help prevent further spread of the virus to other parts of the
Part
continent.
of the rule of sport is safety first. So I think it's a good thing in the right direction for safety first, because if the spread of Ebola is not controlled, I don't think in no time there will be anybody on the face of African soil.
I think it's very necessary to curtail the spread of Ebola virus, but that is not to say that if the players, if they are infected, so you are still going to infect people if you go across the border to play. Not really, but you also have to think about the well-being of the participants and other sportsmen and women and officials as well. You have to take their health status into their health safeguard into cognizance as well.
Safety first. Then, depending on the time that they are still saying that they haven't seen the cure, despite the fact that some people they have been saying that there is one cure or the other, but it hasn't been really been stamped that okay, there is a cure for it. So for now, they are just trying to put safety, to life, and I think it's good.
Finally, on sport news tonight, Luis Suarez has had his appeal against the 4-month ban placed upon him by FIFA rejected by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, but will be allowed to train with his team FC Barcelona. Suarez was originally banned by FIFA from all football-related activity after biting Giorgio Chiellini during the Uruguay's 1-0 win over Italy in the World Cup fixture in June. CAS has made the decision that the Uruguayan should be allowed to return to work, although with his playing suspension remaining in place. The 27-year-old can now train with his new Barcelona teammates for the first time since his €88 million transfer from Liverpool, while he can also commit to promotional activity. And that's my final whistle on sport news tonight. My name is Brownson Wana. Very big thanks for watching. Gift or Getter. We'll be back with foreign news. Stay with us.
What are the people saying?
Governments of today, they are taking Nigerians into a rat.
Policy should be targeted to the general public.
I mean, there's a law guiding the state. If you break the rules, you should be punished.
It's like somebody who has a dick.
Something happened earlier, you take action.
I know that you are going to win. I sure.
There are two sides of the coin.
When you pay a lot of tax to the pockets of the government, you expect nothing but a colossal failure. It can still happen, eh? And we still have trust in our boys, eh? Thank you, eh?
Give them the subsidy to enjoy Nigerian resources. Nigeria are shorting. Nigeria are suffering. The masses are suffering. They should fear God.
Tell them that
May they turn this Nigeria to Sodom and Gomorrah. By the name of God, we will conquer them.
The People, only on Core TV News.
It's still Core TV primetime news now. Stories outside Nigeria. Ukraine said it is sending its own aid convoy to the war-torn east of the country as wrangling continued over a mammoth column of Russian trucks rumbling towards the border. The International Red Cross will distribute the aid to people living in rebel-held areas, the statement said. Spokesman for the Ukrainian government says 15 lorries will leave Kiev carrying around 240 tons of aid following a government pledge of roughly $750,000 in urgent assistance for the civilians living in insurgent-held territory. The announcement came as controversy swirled around nearly 300 Russian trucks heading south towards the border. While Moscow says they are loaded with humanitarian aid, Ukraine has raised fears that the lorries could be a Trojan horse bringing military help to pro-Moscow insurgents in the country's east. Kiev suggested that it will allow the aid to enter the country after inspection of Ukrainian border guards and foreign monitors. President Barack Obama says the United States airstrikes had broken the siege of an Iraqi mountain sheltering civilian refugees and that troops conducting inspection there would be withdrawn. He ordered that U.S. airstrikes will continue against militants from the Islamic State if they threaten U.S. personnel and facilities in the region, including the Kurdish regional capital, Erbil. Obama said that the United States will continue to carry out airstrikes along with stepping up military assistance to Iraqi government and Kurdish forces battling there as fighters.
Bottom line is that the situation on the mountain has greatly improved, and Americans should be very proud of our efforts. Because of the skill and professionalism of our military and the generosity of our people, we broke the ISIL siege of Mount Sinjar, we helped vulnerable people reach safety, and we helped save many innocent lives. Because of these efforts, we do not expect there to be an additional operation to evacuate people off the mountain, and it's unlikely that we're going to need to continue humanitarian airdrops on the mountain. We will continue airstrikes to protect our people and facilities in Iraq. We have increased the delivery of military assistance to Iraqi and Kurdish forces fighting ISIL on the front lines. And perhaps most importantly, we are urging Iraqis to come together to turn the tide against ISIL, above all by seizing the enormous opportunity of forming a new, inclusive government under the leadership of Prime Minister-designate Abadi.
Missouri police fired tear gas and smoke bombs at protesters demonstrating over the killing of an unarmed black teen by an officer. Police officers in riot gear marched towards the protesters near a burned-out gas station where demonstrators have gathered in the town of Ferguson. Police also used sonic devices that make a loud ear-splitting sound to try to disperse the crowd. Police separately arrested 2 journalists reporting on the unrest, and that has roiled Ferguson since aspiring college student Michael Brown in a police shooting. His death has triggered rioting and stirred comparisons with the February 2012 fatal shooting of an armed teenager, Trayvon Martins, in Florida. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's Core TV Primetime News, and that's where we wrap it up. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gift Ogette wishing you a very good night rest. Good night.